What inspired you to start the investor platform? Because I'm going to tell everybody out there, I'm sure Liz makes a lot more money in her real estate than she does in her education business. Even after 5 years, it's a passion, it's a
It
love,
is.
but at the same time, you will monetize. But that's not the reason ultimately what you figure out doing this. Because when you're doing speakers and you're putting events on, you're looking at what the AV costs and what the
It's a
speakers
lot.
cost and everything, and the weekend and the 6 months of the training and the marketing.
It's
It's like,
intense.
why am I doing this? Like,
Yep.
what did God put on my mind to do this? What was your inspiration? Why did you start it?
Yeah, it's a great point too, right, Gino? So at the time, 5 years ago, partner now, my business partner Andressa and I were getting together. We were actually partnered on a number of deals, projects. We were flipping some properties together, doing some new construction, and we'd be getting together. We'd go to meetups, and it was always an interesting part, right? Because we'd always be masterminding together. We started even a women's mastermind prior to Invest Her, and it was great, right? You'd be sharing ideas, thoughts, how you do in masterminds, and we'd always be getting together at these events, and we'd be like, where are the women in this business? It'd be really, really, really powerful to bring these women together so we can ourselves obviously continue to grow and expand. But what do we need to really help women who haven't done their first deal or are scaling their business? So it's like you have the hand out and the hand up, right? And so we couldn't find anything, and we were like, and then we start to you start to really get into the space of, I actually, quick story, 20 years ago wrote a business plan when I was in graduate school getting my degree in social work. I took a business course at Wharton, so I was at Penn, University of Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and my business plan was to empower women who had a mental illness, because that's the work I was in, but to really help them sustain their lives. So I was always gravitated, even in my corporate work, to supporting women and empowering them, right? So that was like literally for the last 20 years of my life. Andressa, similar, and for different reasons. So we also had this kind of pull, and then to do it within real estate investing, we said, where are these women? They're under the radar. We know they're out there. And then you go to the conferences, quite honestly, Gino, and women, like one woman was on a panel. They're never keynoting. And if they're on a panel, they're talking about how it is to be a woman in investing. It's like, ask me about multifamily. Ask me about raising money.
Mhm.
Ask me about things that matter. No, no, in terms of being singled out a little bit. So we just saw this need, and so we said, let's start a podcast. Let's interview women. Let's shine a light on their stories, and we'll see. We think there's a need. I honestly didn't know there was a need. Gino, I couldn't have like painted the picture of exactly the need, right? Because you have a hunch, but you
Yes.
never know really as an entrepreneur and as a person who's starting something. And I was told we'd run out of women, from a good friend of mine who's a male. He said, you're going to run out of women. There's not that many investors. I'm like, I don't know them all, but I don't think that's correct. I just think they're running under the radar. That's what I think. And that was really true. 350 episodes later, I don't have
Mhm.
any problem finding women to interview. And we interview just women. So, that was the reason, and to really create this safe space for women to get the support they needed. You can get support anywhere, Gino, and you know that, right? I can support a man, I can support a woman, but there's something special and really safe when you bring women together. It allows women to kind of take their mask off and to really get the support they need and not feel like they're being judged. And that's really important when you're creating financial independence.
And it's ironic that you say that because in MM1, our first live event back in 2017, it was probably 95% male, 5% female. Multifamily Mastery 5 last year, we had 1,200 attendees. I would probably say it was 60-40, maybe
Great.
65-35. And even in the Jake and Gino community, we have the women of Wheelbarrow
It's
Profits.
awesome.
And there's women that every Thursday they get on at noon with my wife. They
It's great.
don't talk about real estate, to be honest with you. They talk more about raising kids. They don't talk about cap rates as much. They don't need that. And I think men should do that more often. I think women
Yeah.
they're just more inclined to get together and collaborate and discuss. We're more inclined to get together and go, hey, how's that deal going? Whereas my wife can get on and talk about raising families and talk about doing a deal. How does that look? And talk about partnering. And I think that's an important component to our community. And as we grow our community, there's just a need because some women are partnering with their husbands, some women are doing it on their own, some women are partnering with other people. So there's so many different components to
Yeah.
it.